Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to DolphinsTalk.com Daily on this Saturday, March the 20th. I am your host, Mike, flying solo today as we have a bunch of news in the world of the Miami Dolphins in the past 24 to 48 hours that we have to talk about and go over. So, excuse me. The first big news of the past day, I would say, happened on Saturday morning when it was announced by Adam Beasley of the Miami Herald that the Miami Dolphins let go, cut, released, use any term you want, Isaiah Wilson, who officially joined the team 3 days ago on March 17th, the first day of the new league year, when the trade went through from the Tennessee Titans, where they acquired Isaiah Wilson for literally nothing. They swiped draft picks. Excuse me, got a little cough tonight. Where they swapped out draft picks with the Titans. They gave up a 7th-round pick in this year's draft. They got the Titans' 7th-round pick in 2022. So Wilson didn't show up for a physical, didn't show up for some workouts he said he would be at, didn't show up for his onboarding meeting where he was going to, pretty much tell the team, hey, this is who I am. Here's my address. Here's my phone number, all that stuff. When anyone gets a new job, they go through an onboarding process. He didn't show up for any of this stuff. Well, he was late. I should say he was late. He did show up. He was late for some of them. He didn't show up for the workouts that he said he would. And the Miami Dolphins said, we're not going to go through this because this kid had a troubled rookie season with the Titans, always involved with the police, had a DUI, and is a rookie for the Tennessee Titans. He played in one game, a total of 4 snaps. It's a first-round pick as a rookie, played 4 snaps in one game. And I'm not going to pile on the kid. I know a lot of people on social media are giving the kid a hard time, making fun of the kid, calling him names. I'm not going to do that. Because to me, this is a sad story. It's a really sad story because this kid, it is clear he doesn't like football. Or he doesn't love football, I should say. He might like it. He doesn't love it, and he doesn't take it seriously that this is a job where you are expected to perform and be a mature adult. And I see people on social media saying, I hope he gets help. I don't think he needs help. I just don't think he loves the game. And if he doesn't love the game, he doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care about being part of a team and being someone who's going to be counted on and, letting down your teammates and all that. He's 22 years old, and he's acting like a 22-year-old does. Most people at that age, especially those with a few bucks in their pocket, don't act right. They don't they get out of control. We see this all the time in Hollywood. We see this all the time in rock and roll, and we see it all the time with athletes, and this is just the latest case. He doesn't need help. He needs to get some direction in his life, and he needs to find what he's passionate about because it's clearly not football. I say this all the time, and I think I hope fans start to see this more and more. Everyone we see play the game, we see at the draft, we see in practices, we see play on Sundays. That's their job. They might not love their job, just like you watching me or listening to me now or anybody else in the quote-unquote real world loves their job. Most people, they work to support themselves. And these kids are, and a lot of the times they're kids, they're thrust in a situation to where they have this natural size. They might have a little bit of natural ability. They're thrown into the sport of football because it's a way for them to get to college for free, a university they could never afford to go to on their own, and it's just something thrown at them. And for a kid like this who was highly talented in high school, highly talented in college, life came at him fast. Next thing you know, he's a first-round pick in the NFL, and he wasn't equipped to handle everything that comes with that. And he clearly didn't have the support system around him to help guide him through that. So I'm not going to call him names because he was probably a kid who was coddled his entire life in high school, coddled his entire time at Georgia, And when it came time for him to stand on his own, he wasn't ready. He didn't have the tools, and he didn't have the people around him. So it's a sad story. His time in the NFL after this is clearly over. For those of you who don't know, on top of showing up late for all these things with Dolphins, we're not showing up at all. He also put up some social media posts middle of this week, end of this week, which was just a 22-year-old kid acting like a fool, which he didn't break any laws. So it's just him acting like a fool. But when you've gone through the year he just went through, first-round pick, Tennessee Titans, gets arrested, has another incident with the cops, gets suspended by the team for violating rules, only plays in 4 snaps, gets traded for nothing. The Miami Dolphins are just asking him to show up to a couple meetings on time, and he can't even do it. You can't be putting up social media posts acting like a fool. Once again, he wasn't doing anything illegal. He was just acting like a 22-year-old kid who's a little bit of a jerk probably. And that just raises red flags. And it's unfortunate. It's sad. But, Tom and me have this talk, and we've had it on our podcast for years, with these troubled kids. And Tom is always more easygoing than me, who says, yes, there's nothing to lose most of the time. And I agree. Look, this cost the Miami Dolphins almost nothing. You're just swapping out 7th-round picks years. One's this year, one's next year. No harm, no foul, really. Salary cap-wise, no implication. In fact, if anything, it actually opened up $1 million worth of salary cap space. So, yes, nothing was lost. I get it. Low risk, no risk, really. 0 risk. So nothing's lost in that regard. But 99% of the times when you roll the dice on these type of guys, and by these type of guys, I mean troubled athletes who are on their 2nd, 3rd, 4th chance, it just doesn't work out. It didn't work out with Mark Walton. It just didn't. It didn't work out with Isaiah Wilson. And Tom and me, we've been doing this podcast for 5 or 6 years. I can't think of one time where it's worked out. It hasn't worked out with Deion Jordan when he had all his issues. He came back 2nd, 3rd, 4th. It just doesn't work out. To me, I know the risk is low. And I know there's almost no risk, but it's not even worth the minor headache. It's not even worth investing a minute of your time because it just never works out. There's always an exception, I guess, but I haven't seen one with the Miami Dolphins in the past however many years. So, unfortunately for him, we'll see. Hopefully he can find his way in life. I'm not going to call them names. I know a lot of people. I see in our chat right now, people are putting up calling them names. I'm not even going to post. I'm not going to put them on the screen for those of you who are watching this as I record live, because he's not a bad guy. Probably he's probably not even a bad kid. He's just a 22-year-old who's acting like a 22-year-old and doesn't understand he has now squandered his last chance in the NFL. Now, maybe in a few years, if he does like the sport of football, which from his actions it doesn't seem like he does, he'll get a shot in like the XFL and maybe he can work his way back and it'll be like a Rocky story. But I just wouldn't hold your breath because I don't think this kid likes football. I think once again, to him, from a lot of athletes, this is just a job. Punch in, punch out. They don't care about rings. They don't care about winning championships. They don't care about the stuff fans do or some other players do. For some guys, they're just thrown into this sport and this is where they end up. It's a means to make a living. And I think for Wilson, it seems like that might be the case. But he's gone, and his time in Miami lasted a whopping 72 hours because he wasn't officially traded till Wednesday in your cut. He wasn't traded to Miami until Wednesday at 4 p.m. He's let go Saturday morning. So, here today, gone later today. So the Isaiah Wilson era in Miami is over, and that's pretty much all we got to say about that. On Friday, the Miami Dolphins did sign 2 linebackers to the team. No big-name guys by any means, but a couple guys who I think are going to be able to help the Miami Dolphins here moving forward and be contributors. They're not going to be guys you want to count on to start, not going to be guys you want to see on the field a ton, but contributors who fill a role. One of the guys is Duke Riley, who last played for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's pretty much a coverage specialist. He's a guy who is also a special teams ace. He was a special teams captain for the Eagles. And essentially, he brings a very similar skill set to Camus Grugier-Hill, who left Miami this offseason via free agency. To me, they're very similar players. So it's a replacement for him, someone who can help on special teams and also be a coverage linebacker, help, to cover tight ends and cover running backs out of the backfield. So the Duke Riley, he started 8 of 13 games in 2020. He has started 24, 57 total games in the NFL. Just a little bit of a speed guy who can cover, and I think a solid signing, low money deal, not tied up for many years here, and just a guy who can contribute in a role in 2021 for the Miami Dolphins. The other signing was Brennan Scarlett out of Houston. This guy's a little bit more of a true edge, and he can get after the quarterback a little. Stats don't really back it up a lot, but he's going to be part of that group to help replace Kyle Vanoy. And I don't think the signing of either one of these guys, stops anything else Miami might do in the draft, or stops Miami from signing another kind of edge guy, outside linebacker, defensive end here in free agency should they want to. In 2020, Scarlett started 4 of 11 games. 2019 was his best year in the league, where he started 10 of 15 games. He had 3.5 sacks. But at the end of the day, he's a capable NFL player with some experience. He's going to be part of a group, once again, to replace Kyle Vanoy. And I think he also gives the Dolphins a little bit of experience. The guy's been around the block a little bit, and they just lost Shaq Lawson. They just lost Kyle Vanoy. Miami's a very young team. Scarlett's not that old. He's young as well, but at least he's got some experience under his belt. So he's someone who isn't wet behind the ears, let's say, isn't green, and someone who can help out there as well. And this free agency period overall, the one thing when you look at what Miami's done is it's a lot of one-year deals. It's a ton. I don't know if they I guess Matt Skura has a 2-year deal, but that's probably one they can get out after one. I think it's a 2-year deal. I can't remember right now off the top of my head. But it's a bunch of one-year deals. These guys are all Band-Aid signings. Even Will Fuller, 1-year deal is a Band-Aid signing. Will Fuller, if he has a huge year in 2021 for the Dolphins, he's going to hit the market next year and be looking for big money. Now, Miami could also franchise tag him, but that's going to cost a pretty penny. But these are all Band-Aid type moves. They're not guys who are going to be here long term. And you look at what Miami did in 2020 last year when they spent like crazy people in free agency with Jones, Agba, Shaq Lawson, Vanoy, Gruger Hill, Howard, and all those guys. Miami signed 11 players last year in free agency in 2020. We are 1 year later, 12 months, 7 of those guys are already gone. So a lot of the guys Miami is signing right now, won't be here next year this time. In fact, I'd be stunned if almost any of them are, outside of Will Fuller and maybe Matt Skura. Most of these guys are one and done in here in Miami. They're Band-Aid types. Miami is going to build through the draft, but you need to complement rookies with vets. And that's what they're trying to do. They need help at linebacker. We're going to get some veteran guys, nothing splashy, nothing big name. Then we're going to draft young linebackers as well. We need help at wide receiver. That's great. We also got to get veterans. We got to get Will Fuller. We got to hope, at least in their eyes, guys like Hearns and Wilson, if they're in their plans, those are like, even though they've already been in Miami in the past, they're new additions to the roster that won 10 games in 2020. You complement those guys with rookies. Same thing with center in the offensive line. You're bringing in Matt. What's his name? You bring in Matt, and you complement him with a rookie as well. So I think the Miami Dolphins are taking this build through the draft approach, but we need to complement these guys with some veterans, because you are not going to get from 10 wins to 11 or 12 wins just with rookies. You're going to need veterans as well. So there's that. I also, right now, it was last reported as of Saturday morning, the Miami Dolphins have, I think, roughly $12.1 million in salary cap space. That's not enough, actually, because they still have to sign their rookies. They still have to sign their practice squad, and they have to have some money for in-season in case guys get hurt and they need to replace them, obviously. There are going to be moves made. There's going to be restructures. There will be some guys cut or let go. The Miami Dolphins are in no rush, though, because the free agency market, after the first few days of the legal tampering period into Wednesday and Thursday, even a little bit on Friday, has pretty much come to a halt. It's died down. The guys without deals are going to be guys who are signing for very low money. And there's a few guys out there with like name value, I guess you would say. You know, they're not going to be looking for a big money deal. So Miami's really in no rush to restructure guys or let guys go. They can sort of see how this plays out. And if they want to make a play for someone who they can maybe get now at less money than they originally thought, then they can make a move to restructure, let a guy go. But there's really no reason to make that move at this time until they have to. And there is going to be a time when they have to do it, but it might not be this week, or it might not be tomorrow, or it might not be in March. It might be closer to the draft. So we'll see how that plays out. I do think there's a few names out there to keep your eyes on. I think the Miami Dolphins aren't done yet. I think they're going to make another few signings. And I don't want to say a big name signing or a splashy signing because I don't think it's going to be that. But I do think they might get a guy with a little bit of name recognition, let's just say. Might not be a great player, but name recognition. I do think, and I know fans think running back can just be solved in the draft. And yes, this running back room right now still needs work. It needs someone from the draft, no doubt. They're going to get Travis Etienne. They're going to get Najee Harris. They'll probably get Javonte. One of those guys, I would hope. If not, it might be someone later, rounds 2 or 3. That's not one of those 3. If it is, guys, don't freak out. They're going to get a young running back in this draft. They might not get the guy you want, but they're going to get somebody. And that's their call. They have that power to make that call. They're not listening to fans, okay? But even with a rookie, to put with Malcolm Brown, to put with Myles Gaskin and Salvon Ahmed, once again, Myles Gaskin had a nice 2020. Salvon Ahmed, for the limited time he played, was okay. He was good. Those aren't guys you want in large roles. And Malcolm Brown really does have a skill set that is a great skill set, but he's not a guy you want to give the ball to, more than 10 times a game. So adding just a rookie to that mix probably ain't enough. Because you have to remember, they're losing Matt Breida. They're losing Washington. They lost Howard midseason. They're losing a lot of guys, and so far the only guy they brought in is Malcolm Brown. Adding a rookie to that mix is great, and it will happen, but they also need somebody else. So I would not be shocked. We heard the rumors a few weeks ago from John Clayton of James Conner. Again, if they sign him, they're not asking him to do a lot, be part of a committee, and that's okay. They might also go after a Todd Gurley, who has been tied to Chris Greer and the Dolphins a few times in the past. Once again, you're not paying him big money. You're not giving him a long-term deal. You're not asking him to be, quote-unquote, the man. You're putting him in a part of a committee with a rookie and with what else they have. This is going to be a running back by committee team. I don't care what rookie they draft. I don't care. That's just what this team is being built that way. So if they do sign one of those guys, don't flip out because they're not paying them big bucks. They're not paying them to be the man who will get 15 to 20 touches a game because that's just not who any of these guys are. But I do think they'll add another vet running back. I think at edge rusher, it's slim pickings. There's not a ton of guys. A lot of the guys who are out there are older, and we know the Miami Dolphins like guys who are under 30. And a lot of the guys who are out there are over 30. The one guy of name recognition who is under 30 is Jadeveon Clowney. And we know how Miami's made plays for him in the past. He's really turned down Miami. But now everyone's in a different place. Clowney didn't want to go to a rebuilding team or a losing team. Right now the Dolphins are coming off a 10-win season, clearly on an uptick. So that might have changed his impressions of the organization. And the Dolphins, I don't know if they're still interested in him, but if they are, maybe they'll try to reach out again. Who knows? But some of the other guys on the edge, whether outside linebacker or just pure defensive ends, are over 30. Now, I think, and I always say this, there is no problem with signing a guy over 30 years old. You don't want a whole roster full of them, but, if you got 1, 2, 3, or 4 of them, it ain't the end of the world because you do need some vets on every NFL roster, guys who have been around the block. So we'll see what Miami does there. I'm not sure they'll do anything. I do think the linebackers that they signed on Friday are kind of guys to where they're going to draft an edge rusher, I would think, in this draft, round 1 or 2. At some point. Not sure which round, not sure which pick, who knows. They're going to get somebody, but if they're unable to get the guys they like, or if they got guys pegged and they go before Miami picks, it's nice to have some insurance. And I think that's what guys like Scarlett are and stuff like that. The what if we don't get the guy we really want? What are we going to do next year? Let's have at least this guy in place for a year. And I think that's why they make moves like that. there. But we'll see. But I don't think Miami's done at all. I wouldn't even be shocked if they signed another guard, another offensive lineman, just another vet to have on this team because Miami's so young on the offensive line. And the vets they have now, Jesse Davis, just a guy at the end of the day. Michael Dieter's going into year 3. He's been underwhelming all around. So it's a lot of youth. And they could use another just veteran proven guy who you can, if you have to play him, he's not going to get your quarterback killed. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Miami look for a vet here or there. And it might not happen right away because free agency, there's still some big name guys out there like a T.Y. Hilton, like a Leonard Fournette, although they've both been rumored to go back to their original teams. So I don't expect a big move like that per se. I mean, it could happen, but I don't expect it. But I think some guys like a Riley, Scarlett, just guys of that nature who play either guard, who play either wide receiver, running back, edge. You might see more of those type of guys signed here in the next month because at this point, free agency's kind of come to a little bit of a halt. And I don't even think there's going to be a second wave. I think this year is going to be, well, there'll be a second wave, but in past years, you got that first wave of the big money guys, and you had like a second wave, and then you had, wait a little bit after that, there was that third wave of just everyone else. I think this year it's just going to be that first wave, which we already kind of went through, and now it's just pretty much everything else. Because everyone else who doesn't have a home, it's going to be tough because the salary cap went down this year so much. Teams aren't going to spend money on veterans like that. And if they do spend money, it's going to be – they're going to pinch pennies, and they're going to fight for every dime when it comes to contracts when they can look at the draft here in about a month or so and just draft guys. So it's going to be tough, but I do think there are going to be some veterans out there Miami is still interested in. Now, it's that time in the show again, folks, where we have to talk about Manscaped. That's right. If you go to manscaped.com and use the promo code DolphinsTalk, you can save 20% on your order. That's 20% with free shipping. So everyone be sure to go to manscaped.com and get either the Weed Whacker, the Lawnmower 3.0, the Crop Mop, the Crop Mat, and any and all products in between. They got foot spray, body wash, you name it, manscaped.com has it. Whether it's a small order for just $6 or $7, guess what? You still take 20% off that. They mail to you for free. You're spending like $5 or $6, and you will get something sent to you, mailed to you, that is a great product. Or if you spend a little bit more, you're still taking 20% off, and you're still getting free shipping. How can you beat that? You can't. That's the answer. You can't. So everyone go to manscaped.com, use the promo code DolphinsTalk, and save 20% on your order. Last thing I want to talk about, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because he's not a member of the Miami Dolphins, but it's worth mentioning because I spoke about it on the podcast the other night, and he's been rumored to Miami forever at this point, and that's Deshawn Watson. I think at this point, as I record this on Saturday night, March 20th, Deshawn Watson to the Miami Dolphins is probably all but dead. And I think Watson's probably not even going to play in 2021. And let me just state right off the top, I don't know if Watson's innocent. I don't know if he's guilty. I have no clue. And I'm not going to pass any judgment because we've seen both sides of this where guys who we thought were great guys, had good high character, end up being sleazeballs. And we've also seen it where guys have had people come out of the woodwork, make wild accusations, and they didn't do a dang thing wrong, and their name was dragged through the mud for no reason. So I don't know which one this is. Here's what I do know, though. Right now, Watson, unfortunately for him, is in a spot to where he has to defend himself, defend his character, defend any actions he may or may not have done. And that's going to be a long process. That's going to be a process that will probably prevent him from playing in 2021 for any team. First off, teams like the Panthers, teams like the Jets, teams like the Miami Dolphins cannot trade for him at this point because you don't know what you're trading for. You might be trading for a guy who, if there are criminal charges brought against him, is going to be in jail. But right now, there's no criminal charges brought against him, but the lawyer, so I lost count of how many females have brought charges against him, is saying he's going to go to the Houston Police Department in hopes they file charges. You're not going to get rid of picks knowing what, knowing what may or may not have happened here. So Watson will remain a part of the Houston Texans. That doesn't mean he's playing for the Houston Texans, though, anytime soon. Watson probably will not play in 2021 after this ordeal. Even if he's found 100% innocent and cleared of everything, he will not play for the Houston Texans ever again. It's just not happening. Maybe he's traded next offseason, 2022. Maybe he just hangs it up and goes, I've made a lot of money. I'll go do work for ESPN, or now Amazon's got Thursday night games. I'll do work for Amazon. I'm just done. I wouldn't be shocked if he did that either. But from a Miami Dolphins perspective, the Miami Dolphins cannot trade for Deshaun Watson. No team can. So I know there's been a lot of rumors, a lot of talk, a lot of chatter that Watson to Miami, and I do think it was real. I think the Dolphins, if all this wasn't happening, I think they'd be interested for sure. I think they'd be interested, just like any team would. He's a 25-year-old stud quarterback, one of the top 3 to 5 quarterbacks in the league. Whether you love Tua Tagovailoa or not, that has nothing to do with it. It's more about Watson being so good. But this story, we'll see how it plays out. Once again, I have no clue about any of this stuff, and I'm not going to speculate, because if he's innocent, all these accusers, they should be thrown in jail, because it's not right. But if he did do something, then there are real victims out there who suffered real abuse, and none of us know. None of us know the truth. Nobody knows the truth. So let's see how it plays out. And whoever the victims are in this case, whether it's Watson or whether it is numerous females, I pray for them. I pray for the actual victim here, because there is a victim in this. We just don't know who it is. We just don't know who it is, unfortunately. But Watson, I'd be stunned if he plays in 2021 for anybody. And putting all the stuff aside about the actual charges and what this means for the Miami Dolphins from a football perspective, that number 3 pick just became much more valuable, because a team like the Panthers, who if they traded for Watson, they're obviously not going to trade up from number 8, because A, they're not going to have the pick. Houston would, and that's one less team needs a quarterback. Now, Houston, if they took that pick, might have, took a quarterback and wanted to move up to 3. So it might have been a wash. But I think overall, with Watson off the table, I think we know now that San Francisco at 12, Carolina at 8, the Eagles at 6, and Atlanta at 4 are 4 teams dying to get a young quarterback, I think. And with no Watson involved, it just makes it less messy. So I would not be – and if you're the Dolphins, in a perfect world, you can trade down from 3 to 4. And then maybe if another team wants a quarterback, you trade down from 4 to 8 or 12. And you just keep trading down. If you can get Atlanta to move up 1 spot, you take whatever you get from them, slide down a spot. And then because there's going to be – I think it was Adam Schefter who expected 4 quarterbacks to go in the top 6 picks or top 5 picks, he said. So if 4 guys are going to go, your first call is to Atlanta and see if Atlanta, what they're going to throw you to slide down a spot. Maybe it's just a pick in round 3. Maybe it's a pick in round 2. Okay, you take it, slide down to 4. You still have teams underneath, like the Panthers, like San Francisco, like Philadelphia, who still want a quarterback. So if 3 are gone, say it's Lawrence, say it's Wilson, say it's Fields, and those 3 teams go, we got to get Trey Lance. Then at 4, you got the hot pick again, and you can trade down again and get more picks. So the Dolphins, just assuming Watson, is in Houston or he's just out of the league this year, that pick to me, they are in prime spot, because I have said it before, and when we get closer to the draft, after free agency kind of dies down, we'll talk more about the draft. We're going to have a ton of draft coverage on our website, so stick with us. There's no way they're going to stay at 3 and take that pick. They're going to trade down probably at least once, maybe twice, because the value for what Miami needs is trading down for a few reasons. Number one, as I said on the podcast for a month, Tua insurance. We hope Tua's great. We think he'll be great. We want him to be great. But if he isn't, what we want and hope for might not happen. If he isn't, you need to be set up in 2022 to be able to get a quarterback. And having 1 pick in round 1 and 1 pick in round 2 in 2022 isn't great. You want multiple picks, because if you have to trade up You want to have more ammunition. So trading down gets Miami Tua insurance to where if he isn't good this year and Miami is in the market for a young starting quarterback next year, you want to be able to have ammunition in the 2022 draft. That's number one. Number two, what are Miami's needs? What are their real needs this year? We know what they are. Running back, wide receiver. You don't want to take those guys high in round one. Those are wide receivers in this league you can get in round two. I know fans don't like to hear that. They want the Waddles and Chases and Smith. That's great. Maybe Miami does get one. But they might be able to trade down and get a valuable wide receiver in round two that can help them. And so those spots you can get late round one, early round two. So picking at top of the draft, they can still fill their needs. And if they slide down, it helps them in numerous ways. Get not only more picks for this year. Right now they got 4 in the top 50. They could come out of this with like 6 picks in the top 50 and a extra first-round pick next year or something like that. Wow, now they're really sitting pretty. So trading down for Miami this year, who's a 10-win team, they have holes. They don't have a million of them. They did win 10 games. I think is the best approach. And I think how this will shake out now with this Watson news and stuff, I just think that's what will ultimately play out. How far they trade down and with who, nobody knows. And that's going to be the fun part of Thursday and Friday of the NFL draft. So we'll see how this all shakes out. So that's all for today's show. Guys, DolphinsTalk.com, the website has everything you need, all the breaking news, all the breaking rumors, everything. Podcast, we've done podcasts almost every night this week. We're going to have a new show this weekend by Kevin Dern, and also Josh and Aaron the Brain on Sunday night are going to do a new episode of the same old Dolphin show. We're going to have audio pretty much almost every day from now right through the draft. So be on DolphinsTalk.com all the time for the latest news, commentary, podcast, videos, everything you need to get you ready for the NFL draft and in this free agency period, which is still not over. If you follow us on Twitter, follow us at Dolphins Talk. Or if you're not following us, go to Twitter and follow us at Dolphins Talk. YouTube, our YouTube page, we're putting up a ton of more highlight videos, a ton of our podcasts. If you want to watch them instead of just listening, you can see me, my ugly face, on our YouTube channel. So go to Dolphins Talk on YouTube. So go to YouTube and in the search bar, search Dolphins Talk or DolphinsTalk.com. It'll pop up. You type in our website name, it's going to pop up. So you want to follow us there. I'm going to be doing some more Instagram stuff as well. So go to Instagram and follow us there at Dolphins Talk. And right now on our website, we got a bunch of good stuff. We have a 3-part video series from Kurt Warner breaking down Tua Tagovailoa's rookie season. So if you want to see a Hall of Fame NFL quarterback break down Tua Tagovailoa's rookie season, there's 3 videos up of that. It's a great series. You will learn something, okay? And not learning it from some schmuck who don't know what he's talking about, who's never played. This is from Kurt Warner. He breaks it down, and he shows you exactly what Tua did well and what he still needs to work on and everything in between. So go check out that video. It's up at DolphinsTalk.com. We have video of Todd McShay also talking about Tua Tagovailoa. You're going to want to hear what Todd McShay thinks about the Miami Dolphins young quarterback. We have video up of Pat McAfee talking about the Miami Dolphins signing of Will Fuller. So you want to go check out that video as well. Hear what Pat McAfee has to say about the Miami Dolphins signing Will Fuller and where he thinks the Miami Dolphins are going. Check that out. And also there is a short clip up of NFL Network's Bucky Brooks also talking about Tua Tagovailoa. We got a ton of video and opinions and content up about Tua Tagovailoa. Pat McAfee talking about Will Fuller. But check out the website, DolphinsTalk.com. We got more content coming in the days to come that you're going to want to see. So it's your one-stop shop for all things Miami Dolphins. And if you know any other Miami Dolphins fans in your life, let them know because it's the one place you need to be, DolphinsTalk.com. Our Dolphins Talk fan series will be picking up here shortly. We've recorded a few, got a few interviews in the bank with you fans out there of the Miami Dolphins where we want to hear your stories and get your thoughts on the team. How did you become a fan of the team? Some of the special moments, events in your life, or anything crazy when you ran into a Miami Dolphins player once at an airport or something. We want to hear your story. So if anyone wants to be on our Dolphins Talk fan series, send me a tweet at Dolphins Talk or email me, DolphinsTalk1977 gmail.com. We got a long list of people who want to be on. I've got a couple episodes in the bank that we will be releasing shortly, but we will get to everybody eventually. I can't promise it'll be soon. Might not be this summer we get to some of you guys, but everyone who wants to be on the show will be on the show. We're not turning people away. So anyone who wants to be on will be on eventually. Just can't promise you it's going to be soon. That's all I can say. So that's all for today's show. Everyone have a great rest of your Saturday night. If you're listening on Sunday, have a great Sunday, and we'll talk to you again after a while.